I just can't believe we were everywhere and that it was all because of music. One thing is to dream about it, and the other is to like actually see it happening.
Young Miko, you are this month's Up Next artist on Apple Music. Congratulations. I'm stoked to actually have you in a studio sitting across from me. We get to dive into all of the exciting stuff that you have going on. I just want to use this conversation as a timestamp into what is going to be an insane career from you. And just to give you some perspective, you know, previous Up Next artists that you join on the roster are artists like Bad Bunny, Billie Eilish, Ice Spice, Her, and many more. And this is truly something that we use to shine a light on new artists. And I'm just excited to have you in the studio and get to talk to you today.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. We had an interview such a long time ago.
I know, and it was over FaceTime.
It was over FaceTime, but it was a great interview.
I appreciate it.
Like, when they told me we were going to meet you, I was excited because I really enjoyed that interview, so I'm excited to be here again. So thank you for having me. And every single artist you mentioned that has been part of Up Next, I'm a huge fan. So what an honor.
Well, I mean, it only makes sense that you're right up there with them. You know,
Let's go.
Obviously, an insane career. You've put out some incredible music over the last few years. And I'm excited about this new one. You have a brand new song. It's called Curita.
Curita.
Do you have a favorite part of the song that you want people to pay attention to when we play it?
I don't think I can pick like a specific part of the song, but definitely the chorus is what sticks to you the most, and it's just such a fun song.
What was the feeling you got, you know, when you're in the session and you walk out with a song like Curita?
Oh my God, what can I, like, usually when I do things like that, I always think about, damn, what am I gonna do next, you know? I can't help to think about that. I think it's like my competition with myself. But like me and my team, when we make a great song like that we really enjoy, like from the first moment we hear it, we'll listen to it so many times, and then Mauro will be like, stop, you're gonna get demoitis, and then if we gotta change something, it'll be so difficult. But I think that's so great. He's saying yes. I think it's great because like if I want to listen to it so much, it definitely means that it comes from a special place.
Talk to me about, you know, that session specifically on how a song like this comes together.
We made it in New York. I gotta shout out J. Rosa. He was the one that presented the song. Like, he wrote the intro and the chorus, and he's such a great guy. We're such big fans of his. I love working with him. He's a great friend as well. So as soon as he laid down the track, it was like with his voice and everything. He recorded himself, and he was just like, "Oh, I got this idea, just to see if you like." And then as soon as he plays, I'm like, "Bro, this is crazy. How can you come up to me all shy?" You know. I think he envisioned me in it, and once I heard it, I was like automatically jealous with it. I was like, I don't show this to anybody else. Like, this is mine.
You got territorial over it.
I did, and it wasn't even mine yet. You know what I'm saying? And then we had so much fun building up the verses and the structure, and then the boys getting to play with the track. It was just a great session. It's one of those sessions, you know, you made something special. And the beat is great, the lyrics are super fun, the melodies are super pretty. So it was, like I said, just a great session, and one of those sessions that you kind of like never forget. You get that, I kind of describe it as butterflies in your stomach, and everybody's looking at each other in the studio like, shit, I think we made something special.
You said something, you said it wasn't mine yet, and you know, that got my mind going. How does Young Miko make something hers? Like, how do you take a demo, right, a record that someone presents you, and what do you do to put your stamp all over it?
There's a thing where you have to like respect the person that brought the demo to you, and to be able to recognize that something is so great, it's like, how can I make this even better when it's already so good? And I just think that me already laying down my vocals and like then getting to work with Jota that built up the track, and he had the idea in his head, is already like a stamp of, I'm hopping on this, and how do you envision this so we can get it together, you know what I mean? And I think the space of me being able to write the verse is also like, okay, this is where you go off now. Now this is where you put your sauce in, and really tie up everything together, and this is a Young Miko track.
You know, there's a golden opportunity for you merch-wise with a song like this, right?
Of course. Think about everything.
Dude, just take us back to the Nelly era, right? And just have everyone walking out of a Young Miko show with a little curita on their face.
I'm not even going to say much, but you can definitely wait on that.
All I ask is that you send me a box.
I will. You have to wear it, though.
Dude, you'll see a video of me
right.
in this studio right here playing curita, wearing
I love that.
You know, you being Apple Music's Up Next artist in 2024, I mean, it's truly a full circle moment because like you mentioned earlier, you know, last year, you were one of the artists that Shazam predicted would have a breakout year in 2023.
Right?
That's why we hopped on FaceTime in the first place. And that was in January of last year.
It was.
Now, you dropped close to 20 songs in 2023 alone. You dropped your own singles. You dropped a ton of collabs with previous guests on my show like Omar Courtz, Tokisha, Tiny, Marshmello. You did songs with Karol G, Bad Bunny. Like the list goes on and on and on. You had a busy year, to say the least.
It was a great year.
Have you been able to process all of it?
You know what? No. I'm a slow processor when it comes to accomplishments like that. I still to this day sometimes forget I'm Young Miko, and sometimes I'll walk out with my friends and then I'll be like, why are they staring at me? And then I'll be like, oh, right. I'm like, I'm Young Miko, you know, now people know who I am or whatever. I don't think I could like pick a specific moment out of 2023 where I would say this was my favorite part because like one accomplishment led to the other, and absolutely everything that happened, I know it's been because of all the hard work we've been putting in as a collective, and it's just one of those years that we're never gonna forget. We had our first world tour. We put out so much music. We worked with such big artists, and I think that the best part out of it all is that it's still with the people that have been with me from day one, and the growth out of absolutely everything in the team is like the greatest of the whole year.
I know that you said, you know, it's impossible for you to pick one moment of last year.
Don't even.
I'm not even going to ask you, but what I am going to ask is, you know, you wouldn't be here if you didn't see this first, right, from when you were young. Is there something that you got to experience last year that just looking back, you know, you as a kid, you as a teenager, you when you first started, it would be hard to believe? For
sure. I think the world tour is super crazy. I visited so many places I never thought I would be visiting. And
what was your favorite?
I think out of the whole tour, the Spain leg was wild. First of all, I never even imagined I would be like having a show in Barcelona or in Madrid or Asturias. Just like, I don't know, it was super surreal. And we come from such a small place, you know, that it's just like Spain is so huge and like the world is huge, and I just can't believe we were everywhere and that it was all because of music. I think young me with Lil Miko, I don't think she would have ever like, she definitely dreamt about it, you know,
Tiny
but like,
Miko.
Yeah, Tiny Miko. But one thing is to dream about it and the other is to like actually see it happening.
You know, last time we spoke about your journey, right? But I want to get into your evolution. You know, since you were on YouTube searching how to record yourself, you know, dropping music on SoundCloud in 2019 and your first official release in 2021 with 105 Freestyle. Take me back to getting into the steps of learning how to record yourself and really finding, you know, your current sound and developing as an artist.
It's so crucial to give yourself time and space to, first of all, explore yourself and understand what you like, what you want to talk about, and like recognize what can make you different from other people and other artists. I think at the end of the day, that's what every artist tries to be, you know, unique. I just think that even though the process was long, and I started with how to record or...
Do you remember the first thing you typed into the search bar?
I think I searched like free recording apps or something like that. I don't even remember the name of what I used to, what I downloaded. I had like a beat up computer in a small apartment I had. I remember Googling how to structure a song, like what goes first. Like I didn't know an intro was called an intro. I didn't know a verse was called a verse. Like for example, those first tracks that came out on SoundCloud were, like you said, 2019, 2018 almost. And I didn't drop anything up until 2021. So those were like 2 years where I was just like constantly recording and constantly,
Grinding.
and like getting to know myself and pushing myself to come out of my shell. Like maybe it doesn't look like it, but I'm pretty introverted, and I've had to work on that over the years. And I definitely knew, like, if I want to be on stage and if I want to be in front of people, and I have to like be more vulnerable. That process, I would do it all over again, even if it took so long. You know, it was definitely worth it, and I think that's also such a fun part. You know,
Oh, for sure.
I kind of always give out that advice to up and coming artists, just like take your time. Music is going nowhere. You know what I mean? It's gonna stay right there. It doesn't have legs. It's not gonna run away. And there's always gonna be space for new artists, and there's always gonna be a crowd too for new artists and like listeners. So I definitely sometimes go back to that in my head. I still feel like I'm getting to know myself, and I don't think it's ever gonna stop. I think that's awesome.
Do you feel like in the beginning surrounding yourself, with other creatives and other artists definitely helped you on your journey?
Yeah, for sure. And like getting to see how everybody's so different when it comes to working and when it comes to writing and the creative process. And just like to see there's no right way to do it or no wrong way to do it. There's no right way to write a song, or there's no right way to do something that comes out of your heart. So I think at the end of the day, absolutely everybody that's come across my path has definitely been for a reason. Like, it wasn't just random.
Has there been a takeaway, from anyone in particular when you're in the studio with someone, you see maybe how, they manipulate a track or how they layer a vocal that you're like, oh, that's dope?
I like starting with Mauro, like we work together absolutely every single time we're in the studio. I don't do anything without him. And I still learn so much from him. I think it's beautiful that we learn from each other. And Mauro, how do I say this? He's just so hungry to keep growing and learning, and like he's not jealous with his work. Sometimes we'll be working on something and I'll have an idea, and instead of him going, I don't know how to do it, but I'm gonna do it myself, sometimes he'll be like, oh, I know this one person that's really good at this. Maybe we can reach out to him and let's work on it together. And while we're working on it together, he learns, I learn, and I don't know. I've taken something away from everybody I've worked with. But mostly that, like, there's no right way to do it. It's just like everybody has this one specific or this one unique process, and at the end of the day, it all comes from the same place.
Well, collaboration's so important. I feel like when you're all kind of tapped into that same goal, that same end goal, that's where the magic happens, right? You kind of abandon your ego, and everyone's on the same page.
That's so important, to abandon your ego.
Right?
That could be your worst enemy.
Well, you're obviously someone that is on a lot of artists' lists to collaborate with. I want to know, do you have any specific goals for 2024? Any artists on your list that you want to kind of cross off?
Yeah, I've actually said it before, but like I think one of my dream collabs is Doja Cat. I'm a huge Doja fan. I've been a fan since forever.
It just makes sense,
right?
Like, come
Doja,
on,
come on,
give it to us already.
You
know that her first visit to Apple Music was sitting where you are right now.
Oh, really?
On my show.
Dope.
In 2018, when she dropped Moo.
You remember Moo? That's fire.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I love having these conversations, and we get to kind of use this as a bookmark.
Yeah.
When Young Miko comes back in 5 years, we're gonna be able to point to this and be like, remember this.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Last time we talked, about how your mom and your dad and your brother helped you kind of discover your influences when you were growing up. I want to know, like, what's been the reaction like from your family with all the success?
They're my biggest fans. I'm super lucky to have such great parents, the way my parents are, and like, I have amazing brothers as well. Actually, my entire family, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles. I learned things about myself because of them. Like, for example, I remember the first time Karol G like followed me on Instagram, and it was because of my brother. You get what I'm saying? Like,
he texts you, he's like, look at this.
Yeah, like he's always looking at everything that's going on around me. He'll be like, Karol G just followed you, and I'm like, oh, how do you know? I was looking through your followers. I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, they're just such big fans that like they're paying attention to everything around me, and I'm super lucky to have them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They try to go to every concert. I actually took my parents for the first time to Buenos Aires, where we closed the Trap Kitty World Tour. And they had my dad has always said that one of his dreams was to go to Argentina, and we took them out there for the last two shows. And after we finished the tour, we all came back, and I left them a whole week over there. They,
Really?
you know, they were walking around Palermo, which is like the city over there, and they were sending me pictures every night of what wine they were tasting or what beer, or they love to eat oysters, you know, and they were eating oysters almost every night, and yeah, they had a blast.
That's what it's all about.
Definitely. I think that was my favorite part of the whole tour, just like watching my dad's face out in Argentina. It was dope.
To circle back, you know, to the collaborations of it all, what's one collaboration that you achieved in 2023 that you hold dear to your heart, and why?
Definitely all of them hold a very special place in my heart, but I think Benito was definitely a very special one just because of it felt like such a full circle moment, going from me singing Riri with him for the first time in El Coliseo de Puerto Rico to then being part of his latest album. I think is just super cool. We got to build a friendship, and he's just such a cool guy. His people are such great people too. They're so down to earth, and I don't know. I think it was just, I was waiting on that, you know?
You're not stopping anytime soon. In January, you dropped Young Miko, the Bzrp Music Sessions, Volume 58. Bizarrap. What was that like, coming together with Bisa for that one?
It was actually very nerve-wracking.
Why?
Like at first.
You just told me about a Bad Bunny collab.
I mean, but I get nervous about almost everything I do. Like, I just think it was very nerve-wracking because people had such big expectations of what Bisa and me were gonna do.
Yeah.
We got together seven times. We had 7 sessions.
For the song that we're
for
hearing?
that one song, yeah.
No
Bisa and me. We had 7 sessions, and I think it was around the 4th or 5th session where before we got to creating music or whatever, we sat down and we had this very personal conversation where he was like, it's been a while since I've had so much hype for me to collab with one artist, and it's kind of getting to me. And I just looked at him, I said, same. I'm actually coming into the studio nervous, like with a lot on my head, like I had to make a smash, or I have to do this, or like we have to reach the expectations that people have about us. And then I think that's where we were wrong, you know? And then that one day, I just looked at him and said, we were in Madrid. It was during the Spain leg of the tour. And I had just been in Mallorca. So I had this one note that said jet skis and Mallorca. But there was like nothing to it. And I remember just looking at him and saying like, I think we just need to do something we like, and fuck it, you know, the rest will be what the rest will be, and whoever likes it, and whoever doesn't can listen to something else. Like at the end of the day, I think that's also how you're supposed to walk into the studio. And then that day, the session like was born.
Isn't it ironic that, you know, at the first session, you walk in and you're nervous?
Yeah.
Right? A legend like
Yeah, for
Bisa
sure.
is in there. You two aren't communicating that. You guys put on this face
Yeah.
and this show like everything's cool.
We try to play cool for
Right?
sure.
And
I was nervous. He was nervous. We were all nervous.
But you would have never known until
No.
you two kind of sat down
Yep.
and broke that wall and were just human with each other.
Definitely.
Now, the landscape of music has moved to a more genuine space, right? Artists don't have to hide themselves. Like you said, you know, you've gotten very comfortable with just being yourself and being vulnerable. And that's what the people want to hear and want to see. And I feel like you truly embody that, you know, with not only your lyrics, but your style. And from the very beginning, you've emerged as a strong queer voice in the Latin rap scene. Talk to me about finding your voice where you feel like you can truly be yourself in the music.
I think that being able to surround myself with people that know me for who I am, and people that always encouraged me to do what I truly feel, and like that they also do as they want to do and go about as how they want to go about, was super crucial in me being able to just feel comfortable with who I am, and like seeing how the world kind of needed it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It was sort of a like, fuck it. I think there's people for absolutely everything. And like I said earlier, like there are people that are going to like it. And if not, that's perfectly fine. I'm not doing it for you. You know, I'm doing it for myself.
Well, and the beautiful thing is now you get to be an example for everyone growing up who is a fan of you. Did you have that when you were growing up?
I think I did, but like with closer people, like, you know, my mom and my friends, when I think of also queer artists, I think of Cani Garcia and Ricky Martin, and like both Puerto Rican, which is wild. I love that. Lady Gaga was also like doing her queer things. Miley was also like around there doing her queer thing as well. And I luckily had a few people I could sort of like look up to and see that it was perfectly fine to be the way I was. And then I just really like put my foot down and said, this is what I like, this is me. If you don't like it, that's fine. But I definitely can't die without me being able to just like say whatever I want to say and like express myself. I like hiding yourself sounds so exhausting, you know, and pretending to be something you're not sounds sad and lonely, and I wasn't interested in being there.
And I know that you have an incredibly close relationship with your fans, and you know, they write you letters, they bring you gifts, you have conversations. What are the messages like from the people that reach out to you?
I can't read absolutely all of them because I would never stop crying. Like, they're the best. Some of them are super funny, so some of them are sad, but like pretty sad. I don't know if that makes sense. It's more like, I used to be so lonely, or I used to be like this and that, and I found this in your music, which is amazing. I always say that I try to build a safe space around my music and around my image, and most of the letters like really capture that.
Yeah.
And I think that's super fire. And like you said, sometimes I keep some of them, like especially like the ones that are very small, that are pocket size. I'll keep those because I can't carry around. Sometimes they'll give me books. Like you seen the burn book in Mean Girls that's huge and fluffy.
Yeah.
Like, I've gotten shit like that, and it's super fun. And I'll keep that because it's like, I bet they put hours into that, you know, like sticking pictures together and cutting things out, or they put their face over somebody that was next to me in a picture, and it's just super funny.
Well, you being from Puerto Rico, you've said before, and I'm going to quote you for a second. You said Puerto Rico is a difficult audience to captivate.
Yeah, for
we
sure.
are very picky and demanding.
Yeah.
What do you think it is, you know, about Puerto Rico that, you know, when an artist is great, they're just great?
I just think it's in the culture. It's in the blood. It's like, it's in us from the moment we're in the womb. You know,
You're born with it.
Like, so many talented, super well-established artists have come out of this small-ass place that is like, we've already seen what we can bring out into the world. So we'll be like, are you sure you're going to do this? Because, like, look at who came out of here, and, like, we're proud of that. So, but I think that's fire. Like, how I said, Puerto Rico may be small, but la gente gigante, you know, we're huge in heart and in attitude and in spirit and in talent. And I think anywhere you go in the world, you recognize if somebody is Boricua, you know.
What's something incredibly positive that you want the world to know about Puerto Rico?
Bro, everything. Like, you have to go down there. You have to try the food, the people, the culture, like the sky, it's in the air. And you'll get a taste of Puerto Rico just by meeting somebody that's from Puerto Rico, even if you're not in the island, you know?
Well, another dope side of you as well is that, you know, you make graffiti art. You're also like an incredible artist. You went to school for it, and you've said that you kind of leave your mark everywhere that you go.
I try.
And you were doing tattoos for a minute as well, right?
I was.
Talk to me about this side of you, and like, do you have a favorite piece of art that you've ever made?
There's this one whole sleeve I did on a friend of mine. He just completely let me do whatever I wanted to do on his entire arm. I think it took me about maybe almost 3 years to finish his entire arm. So he was there with me throughout the whole process. It was a Greek sleeve. I did like Greek themed, and I think that's to this day one of my favorite tattoos I've ever done.
If there's one person in the world that you could tattoo, who would it be?
Justin Bieber.
What would you tattoo on Justin?
I don't know, whatever he wanted. He has his whole back. No, he has nothing on his back. He should get started on that. He'll look fire.
Now we're a couple months into 2024, and you're already dominating the year with some incredible accomplishments. You know, next month you're going to be a part of Coachella, legendary festival. I mean, arguably one of the biggest, you know, ever. You're going to be out there with J Balvin. Peso's going to be playing. Bisa's going to be playing, and many more. What are you doing to prepare for a Coachella set? What
we start with is always like the rundown and what songs in what order, what we want to make the crowd feel like. Definitely, in Coachella, not everybody's gonna know who I am, so I try to leave a good first impression, and I think that's what I always start with. Like, what am I gonna do on this stage that it's impossible for them to forget me? We definitely start to get ready. We like to see other live shows and like incorporate the crowd into the show and try to give the people an experience that you can get through Apple Music or through any platform listening to the song. It's something that you're only gonna get live, and we try to make the people leave saying like, yo, she's way better in a live show. It's definitely an experience. I think that's what we try to do the most, and getting ready towards that is just like studying and like trying to think outside the box. And like I said, how do we make how do we leave a mark, you know?
Is there a song that you're most excited to perform live at Coachella?
Yeah, curita.
Speaking about the music, you know, you've definitely kept the fans fed. Trap Kitty was released back in 22. What can you tell us about any upcoming music, collaborations, a project that you're working on?
I just think that people are really gonna enjoy the music that's gonna be coming out, and like it's definitely different from, not that different, but you'll feel the evolution in the music, and I'm just excited for people to hear what's coming.
A new era is upon us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I want to say a massive congratulations on being Apple Music's Up Next artist.
Thank you.
Awesome. Young Miko, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, man.